Yeah,
I
don't know it yet, but I want to do football
started,
sessions for children who are deaf.
I can get you some.
What are you trying to do?
Football sessions for children who are deaf.
Oh, he's been doing your artwork, fam.
Football sessions for children who are deaf.
Like, yeah.
So how are you going to instruct them? You're gonna
No,
instruct them?
sign. I'm going to learn sign language.
Oh, okay.
So I can like do sessions.
It was interesting, that, because like when you watch their football, there's no noise.
So imagine like serious awareness.
There was a player that was deaf.
It's like playing at Arsenal, though, isn't it?
Hey!
Here he is.
Drops the mic.
There was a player that was deaf playing a couple of years ago.
Pro?
Yeah.
Not fully deaf, surely.
No, he was. There was that, and there was a guy that was blind in one eye playing. I'll find it. But I remember the deaf one, he was actually good, but I think it got to the point. No, he weren't pro. I think I played against him. It was one of them ones where I played against him.
Awareness has to be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can see he can play, but
Yeah.
there's just certain parts of his games where his teammates would just get frustrated with him because
Have you ever played against a team that are deaf?
no,
Like a whole team?
no, they must be sick. Bro.
Bruv, we done it once when like Crown and Manor, so like college days.
They must be sick. Bro.
Bruv, they battered us.
Yeah, they must be.
What's their advantage?
They must be.
Huh? No, I don't know necessarily if there's an advantage, but obviously
No, there must be some.
if we are all deaf, then we like they must be able to. Everyone's on the same.
Because you know, like if you like,
Kind of
if
thing.
you,
I don't know what it is,
If
but
you lack something, like,
bruv, we got moved to, bruv. Like, and I was there thinking it's an eye opener.
So you can shout and they can't even hear you, but they were still just
They
popping you off.
that's mental.
just beat us, innit?
Winning tackles and last ditch.
It's so long ago, I can't remember the ins and outs, but I remember losing, thinking, nah, what the fuck's going on?
So were they good because they were deaf, or they good in?
I don't know. I've only ever played against one team, so that's all I could gauge it on, really.
What is?
They might be shit
Well,
on the
they
whole.
to deaf football then, innit?
We might have just played the Barcelona of deaf teams at the time. Who knows, bro? You know what I mean?
Yo, Counterattack podcast with myself, Daps.
Spence.
Lamin. Muffled.
Michael.
Hey, guys, that makes me very happy to hear this, guys. I just want you to know. I feel like Harry Redknapp.
He's brought the band back together.
Harry Redknapp, man. But yeah, guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. We're back in the studio today.
We are.
Bloody hell. About time. How long's it been?
It's about 4 months.
In the studio.
Probably been about 4 months, isn't it?
Everything shut down, what? March,
Yeah, but
mid-March.
in
innit?
March, you wasn't in the studio in March, though.
Yeah, Spence, you're
Who,
right.
me?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't been in here since
Get him, Michael.
about October.
So it must
before
be
the
like
live show.
October
No,
then,
it ain't
innit?
been that long.
Since just before the live show.
Really?
Nah, you done one after.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you
No,
did.
I didn't.
100%.
No, we done one online after
No,
COVID.
you done one when I went here in here.
After the live show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
it
you
wasn't
did, you know?
100%.
Serious.
Because I remember I sent a message.
No, I remember that
before,
message.
And I says after the
the
live
speech.
show, like
Yeah,
I'll have
he
to go
released a
He thought he
statement.
was encore.
He released a statement.
He thought he was home.
Pressure.
I got someone.
Breaking news.
I got someone to write.
Breaking news.
You know what? You actually did it.
Huh?
You got someone to write that for you.
No,
innit?
no.
He don't rate you.
Nah, you know when it comes to these things. Actually, to be fair,
technology, he's stepped up a
he's
bit
getting
now,
better. Yeah, I was about to say he's getting better.
What to write? Come on, man. That's not technology.
Nah, but I feel
standard.
like anything's to do with a phone.
No,
just-
but a text is basic, innit?
We hope.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
You know-
But you have been getting better. You've been doing your artwork, fam.
On that, people per hour.
Oh,
You got someone to do it for you.
Yeah,
Wicked.
How much did it cost you though?
that one, £45.
What?
Is that bad?
Of course it's bad. Especially you could do that yourself, bruv.
I couldn't. No, genuinely, I couldn't.
Play.
No, you could.
No, I know my limitations as in
Love
I've
that.
designed
Fucking hell.
clients.
Give
I'll show you one of
I'm
mine.
like that as well. I'm like that.
I'll show you one of mine.
No, but there's after I'll send you all the
No,
the stuff
I
where you
get.
could-
No, but
you could
you're
do it
probably.
yourself.
No, I get what you're saying, but then it's like all of that time consumed.
Mm.
I paid and
It's
Yeah,
convenience.
it just went
Just
front
done.
back, change this, change that, and I got it.
yeah.
Plus, it's like any money. I don't mind investing money in myself.
But it's
all the
yours. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
you get me?
Fair enough. Yeah, it's been we've been off a couple months. Podcast still been going out. Had some good ones. I don't even know where to start, guys, man. What's been happening? Do you not see that thing that come out?
What's that?
About the commentary.
No, what?
What?
Oh, you not seen it? The report that went into basically they studied the language of commentators, innit?
Really?
they studied the language of commentators and found that how they commentate, obviously it's something we all knew, how they commentate
towards
for white people and black people
Different.
is very different.
Completely.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like all the language used when you're a player, like a white player, basically, let's say, is that you're a player with intelligence.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But when you're a black player,
It's power.
Power,
pace,
pace.
Power, yeah.
you lack intelligence
Oh, wow.
and whatever.
I didn't see that.
And
I
it's
saw that.
Where was
It's
that?
everywhere
It's
today.
just like
It's everywhere
like
today.
360. I'm plugging pages now.
Yeah.
You know, the IG pages and stuff like
Oh
that.
shit.
no, but it was actual report.
Oh, I've not seen the whole report. I've
Yeah,
just
it
seen the
was
thing.
actual
I'm looking-
report.
Do you know what, to be fair, my internet cut off today. I was vexed.
Oh, what? Do you want?
Vexed halfway through the day.
What do you want? Is it that Virgin?
Yeah, Virgin.
Oh, is it?
It's Virgin.
What's been going on with
Virgin,
Virgin?
I've been moving meaty recently, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
everyone.
what's going on?
I always see people who I didn't even know people are still on Virgin.
Neither
To be
do I.
honest,
What is that? What's there something better than Virgin out there?
Virgin ain't got no money.
yeah, I don't know what's on there.
What's
But-
what's the next? Because Virgin fiber optic. In terms
No,
of
it's
connection,
quick. It's quick.
Yeah,
when
that's
it's-
what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's quick, but
That's in terms of that. So
it's also
when it
expensive.
works, I'm good with it.
But yeah,
Man.
that report that come out, obviously all the reporters, all the journalists are now all coming out and being like, yeah, God, I can't believe this, blah blah blah, and it's just like it's something that
It's
has
been happening for as long as we can remember.
ain't it crazy how because of Black Lives Matter they're all interested.
Everything
in,
changes.
they're
Everything's changed.
all interested in finding out the reasons behind certain things. And
Who even come up with the concept of going and looking at them?
I can't eat Solom.
Wait. Who even came up with the concept of looking at them? Like, I mean, to be fair, there's a perspective that you say you can never go far enough for the right thing, yeah? But whose fault? Do you know what? Let's do an analysis on how we describe or the language that we use to check that it's not biased. Because that's it's an unconscious bias thing, isn't it?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because, I mean, and how much data do they take in?
I think they analysed.
Or was it just like they pumped it into the machine and the machine just been going? I
No,
don't,
they analysed.
Do you know what I mean?
A couple, I think like 600 and something
What
Games.
games or just
And
random
just commentaries.
commentators or something like that. I can't even
Oh,
remember.
600 commentators.
Yeah, something like 600 or matches or something
Oh,
like that. And they looked at all the language behind it and just saw that, the language used for black
Bias
players.
towards
Yeah.
white intelligence, black, just physical.
I even saw a clip today, funny enough, of a woman talking about why she prefers, she's on radio, why she prefers Morata to Lukaku. And it was literally,
Hold on. What? It's gone.
It was literally like, I'd much rather have him because, you know, she actually used the word intelligence.
Mm.
You know, he's got the intelligence, you know, he creates and blah, blah, blah. Whereas
But he doesn't do the job.
Lukaku, when she talk about Lukaku, he hasn't got the intelligence to make those runs and, you know, he's very powerful and do you know what I mean? It's always like,
Physical, innit? Like in your face physicality, they don't talk about.
It's a sad reality, isn't it? How has it come to Black Lives Matter for this to come to fruition?
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, because we ain't been spoken about this, but you know, even what they're doing with Black Lives Matter, yeah, I'm not even a fan of that. To be
No.
honest.
You got. Do you know what it is? It's taken on many fights at one time, and it's taken on many perspectives of the fight, of the argument that a lot of people won't really identify with. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's become a political thing, which, to be fair, I suppose race and equality is, but it's then taken on. It's just mad because it's just got really broad all of a sudden. It's just got really wide, and I was looking at this thing with the States, yeah, and I was looking at it thinking to myself, like, this thing started because people were getting killed, people were getting abused, yeah, and it's become this kind of buzzword, and I'm not sure I like what it is either. I ain't gonna lie. I love the. Don't get me wrong, equality, I'm with it. Everything, I'm with it. But when it comes to the point where it's like it's almost becoming too. I don't even have the word for it.
I think
I don't even have the word for
I
it.
think
but
it's like the thing right now that everyone's focusing on, innit? And I'm happy with the attention.
It's a bit of a fad.
I'm happy with the attention
is
being
bad,
brought to it, but unless there's some real change going on,
Yeah.
kneeling down before a match, arm in the air,
It's a bit cringy. It's like, okay, cool. And that's what I'm saying. And look, Kaepernick done it. It was a stance against equality and all that. And you look at it and you think to yourself, okay, like how how many times have we got to do that? And we're paying homage to the people that's died, and I get that. But how is that going to change our?
No. So this,
Do you know what I mean? How is that gonna-
so this is what I'm saying. The whole kneeling down thing. It's not even like I'm against it. I'm not. Like, I'm happy that attention is being brought to the plight of black people, but
We need progression.
exactly, it's then that because if we're doing all the kneeling and everything, but then nothing's happening,
Nothing's happening. It's
then
just like, it's just like shutting them
what's
up
the
for-
point?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like the problem is so deep. So we're doing it, but then we do it before a match, but in that same match they're flying over White Lives Matter for Burnley.
For Burnley, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Just counterproductive, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Excuse me.
I don't know, but I saw that they're doing this thing with what do you call them, where the black coaches have to be involved.
Yeah, the Bain thing. That
Yeah,
feels so token.
That's That,
And it's what I'm saying. It's like,
Spence gonna get a top.
isn't
job
that in itself? But you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I've got
Okay,
two.
without
I've got
that,
two
bro.
views on that. Yeah, one of them is that isn't that almost the token gesture of it? Isn't that almost like it's almost kind of racist in itself, weirdly, yeah. And the reason I say that is because it's racism reversed in a sense, yeah. We might not rate you,
Mhm.
but
because
because
you're
you're
black,
black,
yeah.
we're still gonna give you a job.
Yeah.
It's almost racism in reverse, right? And it's hard to get that point across to people that's like the Seal Regises and people of that era because they didn't have anything nowhere near even the distance that we've got today. But the other side of me says you need to change it that way. Wherever you got to change, you need to change it. And however that filters down, whether it's then the next wave of people is then more black players organically, more black managers moving into that space organically, it is going to be what it is. It's got to begin somewhere. That's kind of my two stances.
We don't want to be included because we're black. We don't want to be excluded
that
because
token.
we're black.
That's exactly
You know
what
what I'm
that's
saying?
it.
We don't want to be excluded because we're black. So if we're not good enough, we're not good enough. But if we're decent enough and we're black, consider. That's it.
Yeah.
And be considered openly, not with an extra eye on you.
Yeah.
Or with the expectation that you're
That you're going to fail.
But for that to happen, the people at the top have to go. And I'm not saying they have to be replaced with black people. They can be replaced with white people, but they have to be replaced with people with open eyes.
Progressive.
Yeah.
Like-
it has to go because it's
like
not...
Kitson.
Say that again?
Like Kitson.
Always.
Even Danny Mills.
What's he done?
The Youth World Cup a few years ago.
When he's talking about
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he played for
yeah.
He
Nigeria
talks
or
about,
something.
he just said.
Oh
this,
no,
this.
I know. I remember Zaha. The whole thing with Zaha.
Zaha, why would you play for African?
Yeah,
side?
but I saw he was.
He said something recently. didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh, did he?
he said
But
something recent. I don't know.
It's thing in it. Are you jumping on the bandwagon or have you learned? Like it's hard to say in it. Have you learned from your mistakes? That's why you're now speaking up, or are you just speaking up now because it's a thing to do?
But this is what I'm saying. In order to say you've learned something, there has to be something that's been taught, right? And you can't tell me just because George Floyd died that instantly you realise that you've been maybe biased or negative.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I'll give you an example.
Even if people coming out and apologising, I think it's so it's kind of marginally
No, but
disrespectful.
a lot of people, I feel, for me, I've had a couple of personal experiences with like people that I work with who have everything that's going on. Obviously, they've been made aware to it. So they've listened to stories and listened to people's experiences and started to think, shit, this is fucked. Like a guy that I work with, he's like 28, never been stopped and searching his life.
Never. White guy.
Yeah. But he was like, he don't realise, like when he even said it to me, I was like, what? And even for me, it's like, that's standard, but it's not standard.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm coming from?
It shouldn't.
I ain't gonna lie.
It's not. No, it's not. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
standard. It shouldn't be standard.
I ain't gonna lie.
It shouldn't be
I've
standard.
never been stopped and searched.
Ever?
Really?
No, never. I don't know why. I just
Really?
never. Yeah.
It's the high top.
Genuine.
But
Well,
you
that
live,
is
you
really
live
the
in
flow,
them.
innit?
You live in
What's
them
that?
good areas, bro.
Well, that's some.
Well, no, but
exactly.
I've been. But this is what I'm saying.
No.
I've been profiled enough to the point when people's asked me, "Yeah, what you doing?" and where
Okay,
you
yeah,
going.
okay, cool.
But I've never actually. No one's ever physically stopped me and says, "Oh, do you know what? You look like X, Y, and Z." And to be fair, I've only ever been stopped in my car once in my entire life. And
Really?
Yeah, literally. But and that time
Yeah.
it was genuine racism because the guy said to me, you know, yeah, you're young, you drive a nice car. We've checked the plates. Can we see your license? I said, yeah, of course you can. So I've got absolutely nothing to hide. So what do you do for a living? I said I'm a banker. And he looked at me.
Oh.
I was like, yeah. I said, what's the issue?
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
But that's in itself. That's
But that's what I'm saying.
enough.
And to be fair, when I can feel, I sense that if I had said to him, "Oh, I'm a musician," or I'm something else, the whole thing would have been different.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, "Okay, so is there an issue? Like, you've seen the car, you've seen me. I'm clearly on the phone, having a good time, not in my hands, but on the loudspeaker or whatever, in the hands free. I don't get what you've stopped me for. Oh, there's been many people. No, there's been many people in the area who are taking lease cars and taking lease cars, nice cars, and obviously been around the area so they don't get touched. I said, yeah, but you ran my plates and you know it's you now need to qualify my identity. So the car is registered to my house, which is 10 minutes away. So what have you stopped me for? Do you know what I mean? And his colleague who's Indian, he's a white guy, to come and say, do you know what? Really, really sorry, Mr. Ojo. Right.
He didn't expect the eloquent.
Exactly. But this is what I'm trying to say. So from that perspective, I get it. But from the perspective of like just the people, these people coming out and saying, "Yeah, I'm really sorry about this." You ain't sorry for shit. You're only sorry because people have got a problem with it.
Yeah,
even fucking comedians who comedy is the one area that historically you
can't touch.
You can't really touch. You can drop the N-bomb. You can drop you can call anyone anything kind of thing. As long as it's kind of funny and people know it's not done to hurt, people generally are okay. But I'm even seeing comedians coming out and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't think you were racist before when you were saying these things. Do you know what I mean?
But then it's got you thinking.
But it's now it's then got me thinking, well, okay, so what? Are you just saying it just so your image isn't touched? So that you can keep the paychecks coming in? Like, or are you doing it because you genuinely maybe felt you've out of line?
It's so crazy because
do you understand what I'm saying?
On the way here, I was in the car drive, I was thinking, ain't it crazy how like a lot of black players, not even just black players, just black people in more so the players actually, how they dominate the sport. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sport mode, yeah.
Like they dominate without like the black players. Like the sport ain't the same, innit?
Any sport there.
But do you know what's ironic with that? The irony is though, I think they've pulled the wool over our eyes to make us think that.
No, but wait. We're gonna come back to that. But then like I was thinking, imagine, they've always got to play the part. And it must be so draining for them. Do you get what I'm saying? And now, finally, they're allowed to just be themselves or talk about whatever. And because for whatever reason, like I've realised during lockdown as well, football is proper seen as like footballers are like the next.
It's the next level of
important people in this country. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, just the spotlight is now on them, and they're able to just actually. So maybe that is a good thing. They're able to just express themselves about, look, this is what I've been dealing with.
And change stuff, to be fair.
Yeah, this is what I've been dealing with. But in that, are we now going to start seeing a whole bunch of like commentary, which is just going to be like
passive?
Yeah, like and people are just so scared to.
That's what I'm saying. But the reason I said about the black thing is that if you look at top level team sports, outside of probably maybe basketball. The majority, and probably in the NFL, the majority of top players, tell a lie. The majority of teams are white.
Outside of what?
Outside of probably NHL and basketball, yeah. When you look at
NFL
elite sport,
in the States,
in general,
okay.
People think we have this perception, and probably athletics, we have this perception that we dominate a lot of sports. We do in terms of physical ability. We do in terms of the percentage of excellence, right? But we don't in terms of the volume.
Yeah. But
because,
no.
What about at the highest level though?
Yeah, we don't. Most if you okay, who's the best team? Who's the best team in the country at the moment? Liverpool, right?
And how many black players have they got?
3.
In the team?
3.
Oh, you're talking about
three,
like
3.
Well.
Then they got Mane.
Right, yeah, so you could say Mane, you can say Virgil's mixed race, you can say Trent's mixed race, right?
They're
black.
No.
They're black.
According to the world, they're black. According to the world, they're black. You can say Wijnaldum.
What's the most dominant?
So that's 4.
Fabinho?
For is he a starter?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, 5. Okay,
Mane?
I'm sorry, 5.
Mane?
I said Mane.
Oh, sorry.
So now there's 5, and then you've got Mo Salah, who's Egyptian.
I was about to say, how do you feel they view Mo Salah?
Do you know what it is?
Nah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. They don't look at him as a black man.
You don't think?
No. Do you know why?
Yeah, he's not
because he's Muslim.
And I knew that. And I knew that when there was a year, and people might say it's because I love Mane, and it isn't. But there was a year when Mo Salah won the African Player of the Year, and he weren't the best African player. Now, there's a year that Mo Salah got a lot of accolades, and I don't think he's the best player. And I think a lot of people say, oh, you couldn't argue the goal return. You think, okay, I'm not so sure. But anyway, forget Mo Salah, because this is not a Mo Salah thing. If you look across the teams, the general balance of the players.
I don't know, you know.
I'm telling you.
No. I think you're
Seriously.
getting 5 or 6 black starters.
Do the analysis yourself.
5 or 6 black stars in every
Okay,
top 6.
5 or 6.
What is your actual point here?
My point is that
dominating.
my point is that that perception that people have that, oh, do you know what? It's always the black athletes. I used to think the same, but I think it's something that's been projected, and people, they make you think it is. I'm not sure it is. I'm genuinely not sure it's the case. If you look at the volume of players in the squad, forget the starting 11. Look at the wider squad.
I think
it's definitely very white.
No. It is overall, especially because it's a white country.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be the case. But I think it's more to do with the fact that any sport where it's dominated physically at the top of those sports.
But what do you class as domination? Do you class volume, or do you class as the
any
actions?
physical?
Because for me, what you're saying is that
physical sport.
Probably the top 5% generally are black.
No,
From
that's
what I can see, the top 5% of athletes, top 5% of players, top 5% in NHL, top 5% in basketball, top 5% in even fucking baseball are generally black. But when you look further than the elite, which is what we've always been told we have to be in order to get to that level.
I hear that, but no, but I think
you see a very.
I think at the top,
at least this is my view.
No, at the top, I do believe that, you know, it's very, you know, when it comes to any physical sport, the black people are generally the best and they dominate it. Do you get what I'm saying? Football, maybe not so much. Do you get what I'm saying? But when you look at the basketballs, when you look at the what's the American football? When you look at athletics,
Can I just say? Do you think football? The reason why it might not be the case in football is because traditionally black players are not intelligent.
But this is my point.
So they're not put in those positions.
This is my point.
Like black players weren't really playing centre
Bro,
mid.
that's the key. That's the one thing that I can never argue against anyone with. Do you know why? Because I was a victim of it, and I properly understand.
Like, come on, think back.
I
Growing up,
properly understand.
how many black centre mids?
I properly understand. Like they just for whatever reason, no matter how good you are, no matter how well you played, you just couldn't be the guy.
And unless you played,
You just couldn't be the guy.
Unless you played on a majority black team, you didn't have a black captain.
That's also true.
Spence, is your captain black? You have to make it a black man if you really want to.
To be fair, nah, he wasn't. But when the captain bust his arm, Darrell took over.
I actually thought Darrell was your captain. Who was your captain?
Another guy, Ross, but he broke his elbow. Dislocated his elbow, sorry. So then Darrell's
Is Darrell
vice
come back?
captain.
Is he come back?
What, the other guy?
No, Darrell, is he coming back?
I don't know, we got to wait and see.
Have you started talking to
To players?
Players in general?
Yeah. Well, started now, yeah. Started a bit.
I bet you're buzzing and excited to be back.
Yeah, just want to get back. But you know what, like before we move on to like football, but do you know what, like I think the biggest problem for me, yeah, and it's like,
you was listening, yeah?
Oh no, wait.
He was back. I didn't know what was going on.
I'm always listening.
He's just taking it in, guys.
No, do you know what? Yeah, because like on this issue, like it's a funny. Like I say to V all the time, I don't really like talking about it.
Yeah, and I don't
like,
blame you.
I want to be a walker. I don't want to be a talker.
Mm-hmm.
But my little 2 pence is like, and you know, like even like see like this whole Black Lives Matter thing, like, and they'll wear it on the shirts and like naturally because we all projected sort of towards sports, we think, there's change, but that's not change. Sport is sport.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So even if they say, boom, we're gonna let X amount of coaches, we're gonna bust them and whatever, then it looks good. People are like, yeah, look, there's change. Bruv, I want to see more black head teachers. I want to see black men that are CEOs where there's real power.
There's all tiers of industry,
because there's only so much you can do, like, as a footballer. Because ultimately, whoever controls that power, they're going to decide on yes or no and these types of things. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Like, and you go back to slavery days, yeah? And
Spencer's here, but
no, but you go back to slavery days and them man, they were sitting like this and they'll have the black man like in front of them, like fighting.
The Mandingo fights.
Like everything was like sport. You see what I'm saying? But because they just chuck big P's now, it's like you look at what traditionally what you expect of a black person is an entertainer. You should be a rapper, you should be a singer, football player, basketball player, whatever it is. like you're an entertain us.
Yeah,
Bruv, we don't want entertainers.
Yeah.
That's basically the point I was trying to make when like you've put it better basically when I was coming saying there's so like all the black people in the sport you've got to be a certain way to fit in. You've got to like tap dance basically, and now it's like all of a sudden,
You only have to like Lam saying he gets pulled over and he says he's a banker, and it's like whoa. Oh wow. And even to an extent, like we'll be like that as well. Like just because of how we grow up, like we just assume like, you know, like if you see like a black head teacher, for example, like imagine the school that I'm sending Shemay, and one of the things like, and V even said to me, she goes, oh, I like this school and the head teacher's black. But it shouldn't have to be,
And
the head teacher's black because you don't see it all the time.
Yeah.
You don't really see in proper positions of power, there's no black people.
Yeah.
That's what the big problem is.
That's the issue.
You get me? And like, that's where the people always say like, you know, if you work hard enough, you get this and you get that. No, it's bullshit. You can only get so much. And if you're black, you have to work harder.
Yeah.
And you might not get it, but you just have to work harder regardless.
And
you know what I mean?
I
But
think
unless
No, go on.
unless like it's one of them like, and I say this to V, like I could never tell you, like if you're moaning, like you're pregnant and you're, oh, my stomach and labor pains, I can't say to you,
how to feel about it.
nah, you're milking it.
Yeah.
I can't carry a fucking baby.
You don't.
I can't carry it.
You
I
can't
can't push it out.
It's not the same.
Looking, I've watched it 3 times. I know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So again, I got no leg to stand on, but it's something that you don't know until you do it. So it's like and you look probably, maybe not Lam because he drives a nice car and that. But you know, like sometimes you go into a shop, yeah? Like, not so much now, but when I was younger, especially, I'll go in a shop and I don't have to do nothing, but I know I'm being followed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I say this to people sometimes and they're like, no, you're exaggerating or you're making it up. But you know when you're being followed. Like, I shouldn't have to go out on a Saturday night and saying to my boys, all right, cool, let's go in groups of 2s and 3s.
Yeah, so we can get dance.
When you know Bob and Tim and
I've
his
always
boys
thought that's
come like
pathetic,
with cocaine and they walk in 10 deep. Do you know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, but we shouldn't have to feel like that.
Bro, I got followed in B&M the other day by a
Doesn't
black
sup-
security guard. I'm looking like, I don't want to get ignorant, but you know what I'm thinking, innit? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, the cheek of you. Like, come on, man.
Bruv, it's like, you know, when I was a kid, this is when I first properly realised it, yeah, was at Black Horse Road station, yeah?
Oh,
Shout out Black Horse Road. At Black Horse Road, yeah, a couple of my boys, we just left like one girl's yard. Come out.
What, that one?
What one? Oh, no. Nah, it was before that still. That was before that. And that was before wedding and everything. So no. Anyway.
These are sensitive times, you know. Hey.
So
That was so mad.
we've gone
Spence
We've gone, yeah. And I went to the counter. It must have been about 10:30 in the evening. Went to the counter to get a bus pass quickly, innit? Gone.
Days.
My man's at the you know, like when they had the big glass thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone there. As we've gone, he's just kind of moved away. He's like, oh, can I get a bus pass? Oh no, we're closed. These times I didn't think like you're a bit naive and that. So we was like, all right, cool. So we went and stood on the corner, we're waiting, it's cold. Then some guy, only like afterwards when I was thinking about it properly, white guy comes, same counter, goes, boom, boom, boom. We see him getting a ticket and that. So turn seat. I was like, all right, come. Like, he must be open now, innit? Gone back to the counter. He's pulled the thing up again. It's like, can I get a ticket? No, we're closed. One of my other boys start going mad, like trying to like break in the door. Like, obviously the glass don't break, trying to hit the glass. Then the bus has come anyway. So he's like, oh, fuck it. We ran, jumped on, like got on the bus, just paid money in the end. And then it wasn't even like that night, but then afterwards, and you get a bit older and you start to think, and it's like, rah. Now, if that's just like a normal Joe, but the problem is, there's however many million people who are normal Joes.
Yeah.
So if everyone's
What's
acting,
the ripple effect of that, innit? Yeah.
this is the problem. And again, it's one of them like where, and you always hear it, oh, you play the race card, you do this, you do that.
I'd love to see what the race card is.
You have to walk in the shoes to see and understand.
And this is why I don't feel like it's going to change just with football, because we always say it's a society problem, but
No,
a lot of the people who are making these decisions in football, and choosing to do the things, like they don't really walk in our shoes. They don't really live our life. So yes, you can be like, yeah, you know, this amount of black coaches and blah 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 can get involved, but it's just it's tokenism. Is that a word?
No, it
Yeah,
is.
well,
It is.
But
That's
it's giving like something just to kind of make everyone think,
Yeah,
yes, look, we've
change.
been
Ticking
we
boxes,
it's
innit?
cool now, like let's chill.
Mm.
But there's no like we need economic power. That's what we need. You know what I mean? It's like even like little small things, yeah. Like how many times, yeah, you always hear like black on black crime,
Yeah.
for example, yeah.
You never hear white on white crime.
You never hear white on white.
Asian on
You
Asian
never hear
crime.
it, bruv. You know, even or you look at things like look at what movie was it the other day?
Spence didn't want to
Rapman.
talk, you know.
Sorry,
Blue-
Rapman.
Blue Story.
Blue Story come out.
And then all the cinemas.
And all the cinemas are shutting it down and all the rest of it. And, you know, it's promoting this, it's promoting that. Something like that, or Top Boy, you know, it gets so much negative reviews.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, like something like Goodfellas,
Yeah, that's a classic.
oh my,
Which is
it's a
which is
classic.
white collar.
Scarface is a
Oh my
classic.
God. What about that
the
Essex Boys in that?
The other,
Even more closer to home.
all the one that was on and people were watching it not too long ago. Is it Gangs of something?
London.
Gangs of London, and people are like, oh, it's wicked, it's this, oh, it's so gruesome.
Yeah.
But people weren't really saying, like, there was like a minority, like Top Boy, like saying, oh yeah, you know, this is good, or you know, this is relative and things like that. But on a whole, it gets very, very negative press. You know what I mean? And those are the types of things that need to change. It's not like it's bigger. The world's bigger than football, bruv.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I know that people are going to love hearing that from Spence.
No, sorry.
No, they love it.
It's
It's
my segment there,
it's good. And to be honest,
IGTV.
yeah, it's a football podcast, but there's no point in just talking football if you're not actually trying to talk about something that means something. Because we can talk about Arsenal, Tottenham, and all that crap all day long, but
Yeah.
if life ain't really changing and nothing is and circumstances ain't changing, what's
Stay
the
away
point?
from Arsenal, though.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Let's stay away from Arsenal.
How can you?
You're. Oh wait. First, yeah. Let's get to Liverpool. How does that make you feel? As a Man United fan, yeah.
I feel sick. We'd actually
Seriously?
I actually feel sick.
Always, man.
Liverpool, you know?
Does it run deep for the hate for Liverpool?
It's. I mean, obviously, it's
Well, how deep is it?
Who
How
do
deep is it?
you hate more, City or Liverpool?
Liverpool. See, I'm new to this, man. But I'm not a
Sorry.
local fan in it, so I'm not gonna have that local rivalry. But in terms of like rivalry, I mean, yeah, Liverpool fans. Why don't Liverpool fans get a stick for being London fans?
So you're an armchair fan. Is that
You
what
know, I'm
mean?
not an armchair fan.
I'm just
You
asking
know
a
I'm
question.
not-
Hey, you're being aggressive, you know. Why are you being so aggressive?
He annoyed me today. Still. He knows why he annoyed me. Bro.
Why-
We're not gonna get into
Whatever,
it.
bro.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but well, what was I saying? So yeah, for me, it's like I've grown up around annoying Liverpool fans, talking for years about stuff that they done in the 80s. Now they've actually got something to talk about, and it's just like, but besides all the nonsense, like I had a conversation with my uncle. He's a Liverpool fan. Like Klopp done excellent, man. Klopp, the sporting directors. Hats off to them, man. What was that 5 years he's been there?
That's how you know you do not want to big them out. You're bigging up the sporting directors, fam.
Yeah, of course.
You're bigging up sport. But do you know what I was thinking about today as well? Like I've realised the reason why Liverpool are so annoying with it is because you see, if United win the league today, we've seen them do it before, so it hurts, but we know they've got it in them to do it.
They've got it. Yeah.
If Chelsea win it,
Yeah.
we've seen them win it before. You know, it's in their DNA.
Yeah.
Get me? City, it's in. Liverpool ain't ever won it.
They just choked.
So now they've got that first timer thing to it, and they're absolutely taking. You don't know Harold Otamendi? You must know him.
No.
He's at Dagenham Redbridge. He supports Liverpool anyway. You must know. He played in that All-Star game, but
Maybe I see him.
he put up bare things like, can we now admit that Robertson is better than Ashley
I saw
Cole?
that.
I saw that.
Ashley, it was him that tweeted it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just-
Ashley Cole, and then he's just like, yeah, Henderson better than Lampard, better than
That's
Scholes,
just
better than
pathetic.
Gerrard, and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, you know what?
Just,
I just let them enjoy it, but you have to have some decorum.
they've not even
You gotta
dominated.
have some decorum.
They've not even dominated. Like,
They seem
go
to
do
think
it
that
again.
they'll dominate for
If they do,
for
then
years.
hats off to them.
Power to them.
I don't think they will though.
Who knows? Innit?
I don't. Shall I tell you why?
Mm.
I've realised how difficult it is to win back to back.
In this
Like,
day and age, anyway.
It's difficult.
It's not a joke.
Because remember when
It's not a joke.
Pep first come,
Yeah.
and then we said for the next 3 years he's locked up the league. Like,
He got it twice. He got back to back.
Twice,
Yeah.
like it's very. There's always going to be someone to come, and then
Always.
you have to start looking at, other factors in, how hard is it to keep the players motivated to that
it is.
level?
Look, the Arsenal, the great Arsenal team, we never done back to
We
back.
didn't bet about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not easy, man.
Bruh.
It's
And
not easy.
how hard is it? Do you not reckon to keep? Because obviously, Champions League, and then he kept them motivated again. You know what? We're going for the league, blah blah. But
It's done now.
I think
You think they peaked?
I think they're so like. I don't think the players have peaked. I think this team, as it is,
Yeah.
have peaked.
That's what I mean.
What,
Yeah,
Liverpool
they've
team?
peaked.
Yeah, I think this is their peak because
No, I think
the only way you can think it is if you improve on it, like
But
in
the
regards
question
to
is,
freshen it
how
up.
far ahead are they from the rest of the pack?
This is the thing. I think
How
I
far
don't think they're that far.
From who? From City?
I think this
From
season they've
everyone
been far. I think if City go out and do what they're supposed to do, I think Pep's fuming.
Can I just make a point? I said at the beginning of last season about the fact he didn't replace Company. Do you remember me having that?
No,
debate?
we had that conversation.
I know, and this is, and you're right, because you can see in Pep's face, there's an angst in him.
He's fuming.
There's an angst in him. You can
He's
see he's
fuming.
fucking
Like,
enraged.
I see from him certain times where his levels that he's set, he can see that it's not being carried
It's just
out
not
in the
being
players.
delivered.
In the
Yeah.
players. So like,
I mean,
I
that
see
performance
it.
against Chelsea was awful.
I see it time and time again with. I think Mahrez has won him over, but I don't think he fancied Mahrez.
He didn't like him at
I
all.
don't think he
I don't
because
think-
Mahrez isn't. He doesn't play the City way. He's been doing it now,
Yeah,
but
I don't think
he hasn't
he
really
has-
been. He hasn't really.
But it takes time. Though,
I don't think
With
he has
Aguero,
Mendy.
Took Aguero a little while because he was.
Yeah, but I think he fancies Mahrez now. But before he weren't having him,
Yeah.
I don't think he's having Jesus one bit.
You think?
No.
mentioned him.
I remember we had this conversation. About Jesus if he can actually be the next thing to carry on
Yeah.
Aguero's thing. I think he's seen now that.
Not too bad.
I think he's
Probably
seen
not
now
the
that
guy.
he
He's probably not
Jesus
the guy.
can't do what
What Aguero does?
Yeah,
long term.
Kun Aguero is different. Man.
long term.
Listen, that guy's.
Do you not still see Aguero? I mean, Jesus as like long term, going to be like that top striker.
I didn't even saw him as that in the first place.
Sorry, mate.
No, not like that. But when was he?
No,
Did he have? He didn't have like a bad boy streak though, did he? I think he had little spurts here and there, but he didn't have like a bad run of form. Where
Do you know who I think's the real problem though? I think there's I think his defense is just woeful.
Where's Stones? Is he injured?
I think he just don't fancy.
He
it.
just don't fancy him. You don't fancy him. Mendy,
No.
Yeah,
no.
Mendy's done. You know.
Yeah,
Mendy's
Mendy.
Go on.
done.
But do you know what it is though, yeah? With Mendy, I truly believe, yeah, it is literally just about him getting
just playing time.
consistent run
Yeah,
of
it's playing
games.
time.
Because can you remember Mendy before the injury?
When he
Yeah.
first, when he first.
was a
And then
beast.
then he mash up his knee, wasn't
Twice.
it?
Done it twice, innit?
Yeah. So
It's
that
not easy, man.
I
I
think,
think
to recover from
it's a
it.
thing of just getting the game time because he's come back from lockdown. There's been times where it's like, yeah, this is the Mendy.
But then there's been times where it's like,
Like the Chelsea game.
Because even his output, he's like crossing and that.
yeah,
It's not on the levels.
It's not the same.
Yeah. But that just comes from playing games, man. The only thing is how patient Thingy is.
Yeah.
Pep.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you get me?
there's going to be money spent.
100%. He's gonna be raging. Bro.
So,
Ah,
You know what I mean? He's gonna be seething.
yeah.
Like
let's-
we want it.
listen,
We want this back.
Centre backs, what, 200 million centre backs?
no, you can't. You ain't gonna spend 200 million. I heard Koulibaly's coming though to
To
see.
see.
I heard he's going.
I heard he's
Liverpool.
going Chelsea.
No, I heard. I saw yesterday that
No,
that City.
You want
City.
if they want to get someone, go get. I can't even pronounce his name, but you know the boy.
Upamecano.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Well, you lot in soon. Sorry.
But
We
they
ain't-
didn't
we
wanna pay
ain't-
the
we
money.
ain't-
They didn't wanna pay the
we
money.
ain't-
we're not
Imagine that. And he wanted to come. They didn't want to pay the money. Don't even start
Yeah.
man on that team. Yeah.
The only thing he just needs to brush up. The only thing which might kind of go against him, he sees a lot of ball, but he lets himself down sometimes. And obviously, like
Like that
To
game he got
Pep.
sent off.
yeah. And
But hey, what about
to Pep, like that's something he prioritizes, like on the level of the defending, maybe even prioritize
What, the ball player?
prioritize
Over
it a
defending,
bit
The
more,
ball playing.
like
the ball playing?
being a ball player.
What about that Garcia guy who played against you lot, but my man just clattered him? Edison.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
Imagine looked at him like,
you've been waiting all this time. You ain't been getting your chance.
yeah, and he just get.
And Edison didn't even
Shouldn't have
go
come
to shake his hand.
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
Write him off.
Yeah.
What did you lot make of him before he? Do you
Who, Garcia?
Yeah.
I didn't really see too much of him, to be honest. I didn't see too much of him, but I think that Upamecano. Is that his name? Upamecano?
I can't pronounce it properly.
So, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, him. He's one of the up and coming right now. But you know what? Can you improve that?
Very highly tipped.
Because you know the way he is.
What, be on a ball?
Is he at the? You
He's
know
a
that
baby.
Baye? You know that Eric Baye?
He's 21 though.
This is-
I
but
think
do you know what?
I think you can work with him.
You forget
No, but
that.
you see that Eric Baye?
You forget that.
Yeah, because he's a
Yeah,
monster.
you forget he's a kid.
I hear that, but
He's so young, bro.
there's certain
3 years ago
thingies-
playing academy.
Okay, so look at someone like Kurt. Look at
do
Kurt
you know what I
Zuma.
mean?
Look at Kurt Zuma.
Mm.
Kurt Zuma, his ball playing, I don't like it at all, one bit.
It's ragged, innit?
And it's always been that way.
Mm.
But
Yeah, change.
and that was something everyone always said, yeah, you need to improve on, blah, blah, blah. But he still ain't improved. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's certain things, if it's not at a certain level,
If you ain't got it, you ain't got it.
I've-
if it's not at a certain level,
But I think
But what are you working-
I think it depends. I think it depends on the team you're playing in as well.
And who works with you?
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
because I
really
think
working.
like with Pep, like they might work on him physically, as in technically his distribution, but the movement is so good
Yeah.
that
You've got an option.
there's
if I look up
Mm.
and you're in 10 yards of space,
just get
even
to
if
that.
it's like 3 or 4 yards out, it's like, you know, it's effectively
Yeah.
a placed pass.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's all of that as well. Like, is he getting the right? To be fair, Leipzig have got wicked movement, but Pep takes it to a
different
whole
level,
different level.
Mm.
When you got like how many times like Carl Walker against Arsenal, he just played centre mid pretty much. Now, if you come in and play centre mid, your people are thinking, hold on a minute. Like, so you come here and then someone pulls out wide. He's on his own, so you just roll it to him.
It's so funny.
So it
you
just
say
becomes
that.
a bit easier.
how things have picked up and how
How it's
people are
changed.
copying. Crystal
Yeah.
Palace yesterday.
You said, you
You
mentioned
said
that.
Palace had
Palace
Bruh,
playing
Could
inverted
not
fullback.
believe it. Like Palace, you know.
Mm.
Van Aanholt in and who played right? Is it Ward or something? I think it might have been Ward. Came in, tucked in, centre mid.
last man.
And I was just like, raw, Roy Hodgson.
Innit?
It's just what men are doing now.
But you know what? It's like, it's a little bit like in this country more, it's like we kind of see things as new.
Yeah.
But like continental,
They've
like
been-
it's
they've been
not
doing that.
like
It's
in
like
that,
false nine, innit?
yeah,
Look
like
how long
Yeah.
that's been going
full
on.
spin nine, like Hungary done it in the 50s.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was reading like that book, Inverting the Pyramids, that goes
Yeah.
through like the history of tactics and stuff. And even like, I'd like to think I'm quite knowledgeable, but it was showing me certain things. And I looked and I was like, wow, like it's come again, sort of thing. You know what I mean? But again, it's a lot of it is like over on the continent.
It's on the continent.
Over here has been very rigid. Like
It's rigid. 4-4-2.
it was like
for
But
8.
look,
4-4-2, 4-2-4.
4-4-3.
Then it started
4-3-3.
4-3-3. And then now, with the influx of European or continental
Influence,
managers and players, obviously, who can play the systems, everyone's starting to jig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, that's still. I do think that City will go out and buy those defenders.
They've got to.
Honestly, it's so. He's gone past the point of actually showing. You know that silent anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That silent anger.
He does.
He's gone
looks.
past.
He
He
looks
goes back
tormented.
and he just shuts the door and shouts.
Yeah.
He's
He
gone
looks
past.
tormented
He
on the
just
sideline.
knows that. Listen,
This ain't good enough.
he just knows. Yeah, you lot. Are
You're
fake.
not coming back.
They're not gonna. And he's got big problems. Yeah, David Silva needs to be replaced.
He said
Fernandinho is the one that is gonna be a
That's the
massive
one
miss.
that's starting. Yeah.
He's gonna be a massive miss. So he needs to get centre backs. He needs to get another
Centre
holding mid.
midfielder.
Holding mid.
And needs to get a creative player.
He needs to get another winger because Thingy's on his
Son
side.
is
He's done,
Son
innit?
is
He's
Son.
signed for Bayern, innit?
Yeah, I think he's going to sign for Bayern.
I think it's done. I saw-
47 mil.
I didn't see it, but I was just
So
That's
he's
good
got,
business.
He's got a year left or something, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's
why
good
they're trying
business
to-
though,
awful
man.
business.
It's great business.
That's good business.
Great business.
Awful business for City. But
No, because they can't get any more.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, but
Plus, he's been out
Bayern-
for a year.
It's been out for a season.
He's been out for a year, like, but you see Bayern,
Got
yeah?
the potential.
You see Bayern. Bayern's team is, they've got too many players.
They've got too
And
many
it
players.
seems like they're all happy.
There's
Well,
something
they're
about
winning
that club.
everything,
Yeah,
innit?
it's true.
So-
It's
Huh?
They're winning everything, so
It just,
why would you not be?
bruh, that team, shall I tell you who I really like, man? And he's Goretzka, yeah?
Mm.
Goretzka is just, and he looks like he's
I like-
beefed up.
I like
and,
Kimmich.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
think
like
Kimmich's a
Kimmich.
good player.
He's what
Kimmich is-
Liverpool fans think. Trent.
He's a proper.
He's what Liverpool
Play
fans
centre
think.
mid. Oh, get out.
Yeah,
Jog-
that's what I'm saying. You know when people say if you put Trent centre mid,
Like,
he'll do a
please,
job. No.
behave. Against who? Against you.
Trent defensively,
Wolfham Abbey.
tactically.
I don't even
Nah,
remember.
I got enough favour, you lot.
Do you know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
yeah, we'll touch it,
Your
we'll
skipper
touch
will clatter him, mate.
1,000,000%.
Exactly.
1,000,000%.
Would you tell him to just clatter him?
You need to.
Yeah, when the time's right, innit? When the ball's there, just flick him.
Just leave him on.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think of that thing I put up? We spoke about it a little bit. When Charlie Adam on the podcast said about managers don't want senior players.
It's a good shot.
You, as a manager, you said a bit, yeah, but like to elaborate on that. Basically, people that don't know, Charlie Adam is that it's a young man's game and he feels like managers just don't want senior players. For me, I think the main reason why a lot of managers don't want senior players is because they feel like they can't handle the ego. They can't handle older players having like a voice or whatever. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Is he retired, Charlie Adam?
No, he's still playing at Reading.
Okay. No, I was just.
Oh no, I was waiting.
No.
Like it might have been like he might have kind of been scorned a little bit. Like that's what I thought it might, and that's kind of informed his opinion on that.
I you know what it is? I think personally, I don't think he likes being out of the team. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think where he's had to find a new club at the beginning of the season, and Reading like have come and eventually given him a contract, and now he finds himself at the team. And even on the podcast, he was like, he still thinks he's the best at Reading.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's left the thing where it's just like he's used to playing all the time, and now that he's reached this age and this point of his career, and it's not a given that he's starting. I think it's easier for him to just say managers just don't want older players.
But does he not understand?
No, I think,
naturally, he's not CR7. His body can't handle him starting all the time.
Well, he didn't seem to think.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
You don't,
Okay,
you don't as a player.
No, but you do kind of know when your body's slowing down. I think for me, when I listened to that, and I listened to his reasoning, I had plausible grounds to kind of see what he was saying. Because in fairness, if you look at the dressing rooms,
how old is he now?
a lot of them are younger.
34.
A lot of dressing rooms are young.
What's
they
on,
are.
Like they're young,
on
they're
average,
proper
you're looking
young.
about
They
2
are.
games a week.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
No, it's tough. No, don't get me wrong. But and to be fair, he said when you look across a lot of the teams, a lot of the dressing rooms are young. So he was saying, because we was talking about the conduct of younger players
Yeah.
and how he expects them to behave, and obviously the things that he would expect them to do and the stuff. Because obviously we're kind of old school in that regard. Right?
Yeah.
You want to look up
He's
to
very
someone in
old
the
school.
dressing room, and you want to get their advice. You want to be like them in terms of how professional they are. And he was saying, like now he's on a training ground longer than boys who have just come into the team. And to be fair, back in the day, it weren't like that. At least from my experience, you always had the younger ones trying to
impress.
do as much as they can, do as much as you can, as you can. And to be fair, like he's saying, look, like maybe they don't really feel like they've got to. Because they've got everything that they're kind of trying to work for already.
Yeah.
I think
That I
it's so
agree with.
hard, man. That's the thing that with these younger players, it's so hard when
Whoops.
it's so hard when like you're trying to find your way, but at the same time, you've got everything the older players have got. Like you've not had to earn it, so it's like you're on the level.
Like,
So what incentive do you have?
That's society. Because look, you got kids who have got top iPhones, top tablets, kids. So it's like for you to have a phone which costs the best part of £1,000.
It's £1,000.
What do you have to like? You know what? You all know what you have to do to acquire something like that, but they don't understand that. So I just feel like the way society is, and a lot of these kids are products of this society. Or a lot of these players, 17s, 18s.
Well, they are.
They are, isn't it? Like some of their parents are not too much older than us, but they are, part of that society where they get a lot of things. So. Unfortunately, you just got to go with the times.
It's a good question, actually. How do you deal with that, Spence? Because obviously you've got a house full of kids. How do you deal with the fact that you're...
my real kids?
Yeah, your real kids, yeah. That you because obviously your kids are growing, innit? Do you know what I mean? And naturally, influences come through and all that sort of stuff. How do you sort of deal with that when, I don't know, Trey might come and say, yeah, Dad, I want an iPhone or whatever. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's happened, but...
Shemay, she's in year 6 now. Got her phone for Christmas.
Okay.
So Android phone. It's called, I don't even know what it's called, Qbot or something.
Okay.
It can you can get like WhatsApp and a couple bits like that. But no, I'm not buying an iPhone. No chance. Trey keeps kicking on. Oh, I want a phone. I want a phone. Said when you need a phone, I'll give you a phone. You know what I mean? It's only for Shmay because year 7, she's gonna start going to school.
Further away.
So I try and give them as much as I can, but I don't want to give them too much.
And how do you manage that message? So in a sense, obviously, right now you can say no.
Yeah.
But when is the time? So if
What, to get something like of value?
Well,
like that?
yeah, or to kind of like, I suppose, get something that you feel like you've got a bit more, I won't say independence, but you've got a bit more, you've got your own thing. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like when I feel like you, like
Inverted
if I'm
commas.
talking to you like you're my child, like when I feel that you're mature enough to look after it properly and it doesn't break, because I'm not prepared to buy another one. Do you know what I mean? So when we get around that, then we can have a conversation.
So is it for you? Is it a monetary thing then? It's more about you don't want to drop the peas on it.
I think it's understanding the value of it, and this costs, like, you know, it's like I might buy you like trainers, and they're like £100. Like you could buy £100 trainers, and within 2 weeks, we've all known people that have done it. Within 2 weeks, you've gone and played football in school.
Yeah.
You got a hole in it, like, but you don't understand that, like, you know what I mean? Like £100, it is a lot of money. Like regardless of how much money you're making, £100 for some cloth to put on your feet.
That's because you
is a lot
know.
of money.
That's because you know the value of the pound.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? So like,
Man
I
said some
try
cloth
and
to put on your feet.
Inside Kelsey.
like, I know, but come on, man. So I try and like explain that to them, or like, oh, you know, oh, like, can I have a Nike this or that? I'm like, well, no. Let's see this £5 one. It's gonna do the same thing that one does, isn't it? And right now, like,
So when
I'm
you
in charge.
so,
Spence here for
so
the
when you
materials.
give players,
Yeah, go on, sorry.
when you give players, you're there. So you got a player coming on, a young player. Does it come? You know, when it comes to offering money, is it a thing of like you take into consideration his age? So like, let's say you got let's say you sign me on. You know I've been about and blah blah. Let's just say you give me $250 a week. Let's just say.
Serious budget, but go on.
Yeah. A young player comes now, all the ability in the world, and you know he's a good player, but he's young. Does that come into your mind where it's like, nah, you know what? Just because he's young, I've got to.
In terms of offering him?
Yeah.
Not really.
In terms of
to
how
be
much
honest.
you offer.
No, not really, to be honest. Like,
You can't, can
we
you?
try and we try and keep everything as level as we can.
Arsenal model.
Yeah.
It's not even the Arsenal
something
model
like that.
anymore, mate.
But it's like, naturally, it's a bit like, for example, like if a kid comes and they haven't played a lot, but they're really good and you like them, a lot of the time you can give them money and they're gonna be happy. Like if you've got someone who is established or has, you know, played for this club, that club, and has earned certain money the whole time, then it can become a bit more difficult because you're like, this is what we can give you. And you might be looking at it and saying, well, no, you know what? I haven't earned that since I was 21, 22 or something. And then you might have to kind of meet in the middle kind of thing. But to be like I said, we don't really have that sort of problem. Like we've never been held to ransom. If anything, like I've had people come in and, like, obviously not saying no names, but people have like taken pay cuts. Like I know man earn more elsewhere, or you could, but I think it's a mix of like you kind of know me and you buy into what we're doing, and like it's not all about the money. But that's the kind of vibe we try and create as well.
So do you prefer older or younger players?
Need a mix, 100%. You know what I mean? We got some good older players. Like, but when I say good, I mean like they can still do a job, but if they're not playing, like the behavior is impeccable. Great word. Like, well, like my like I was saying, like my boy who's up top, and there was a couple games where
Darrell. No, Darrell's not even there anymore.
My other boy, Liam.
Shout out, man.
Liam McKenzie every time. But you know what I mean? Like we played together, like from when I think like first time we played non-league, we were playing together. So I've known him a long time. Do you know what I mean? So when I say like he's my boy, like he's proper my boy, but he doesn't expect like any special treatment, and he's older than me as well, which to me sometimes is a bit. It's a bit not sticky, but it is a bit.
Dynamic, isn't it?
Because
Do you know why that's
naturally,
why though? Because you got culture.
yeah, naturally,
Yeah.
like you know, you very respectful to anyone that's older than
Yeah.
him. And it just so happened that he's with me now, and I'm older than him. You know, but I
He's
try
older than
and
you.
oh, sorry, yeah, and he's older than me. But I try and like I'll talk to him like how I would any other
Any
player.
other player, yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, it's just a bit weird. But like sometimes he would not shut me down like that. I'll be like, look, you're not playing today because of. He's like, no, you don't even have to tell me. Like you don't have to tell me. You're the manager.
You're the manager.
All right, cool. And then he's changed on time. We got to be out at a certain time. I don't have to go to him, for example, and say,
But
that.
you know what? That's because of his respect for you as a person.
I don't know. You know, I think that's probably a thing of if he weren't the manager,
I
I think he'll probably still be the same.
Like I've known him a long time. Like his attitude is just very, very spot on. But that's what I'm saying. Like anyone who's like older, we want to have the right attitude. Like you're not gonna. I say it to the young boys as well. You're not gonna play every game. You know what I mean? And it can't be no like I'm throwing my toys out the pram.
It's so hard though.
Kind of thing.
I'm not gonna lie. It's so. I think now
it's not easy.
At this stage, if I'm just warming bench every week and like, I don't mind sitting out 1 or 2, but if I'm just, it's so hard, man.
Because you got other things to do.
Because I want to play, and that's the thing. Like football ain't a full time thing for me.
Yeah, if you're not playing,
so
it's like okay, I can do something else with your weekend.
If ever there was an example of when you need older players, good older players, it's Arsenal.
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
It's
you
Arsenal.
need that
man.
experience. Though.
Like
it's so clear.
Can you remember? Yeah, and you're gonna try to take this back though. Yeah.
Go on.
Can you remember when I said Arsenal should have got Johnny Evans? Can you not remember that? Please
I
tell me.
remember you saying it.
I do.
And the reason why I said that is not because that's the level we're aiming for or whatever.
But what's wrong with Johnny Evans about that level? I think he's a
No, he's a good defender, but
Talking about the experience you bring.
yeah. So I'd much rather get players who are experienced and have been there that can do the job first and foremost. Do you get what I'm saying? And as much as I don't really like the guy, you know, having someone like Jordan Henderson in our team right now, would be priceless.
Would make a difference. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
you need that attitude.
Because people are talking about like, Guendouzi's rubbish, but I don't think Guendouzi's rubbish. I just think he ain't got people around him who can
compliment,
who can teach him the way.
You need. It comes to a point where you need someone to literally say, "You do this. Go stand over there." If someone hold the ball up, if you feel a tackle in your back, go over, win us a foul.
Yeah,
we're breaking and we can go to goal. Shout to him, run to that corner flag. Take your time. It's a throw.
We don't have that.
Slow down.
But how long has that been though? How long has it been like that?
Since Wenger let every senior player go and decided not to
when
replace
was that?
him. I think it was around about. I think Van Persie was the last one.
But even that, like, I mean,
Nah,
like,
it's been going on for longer than.
No, but I think that was the last of like.
So when did it start then? Like, what was it like? What Gilberto?
Vieira and them, man.
When like Vieira went when he kind of shouldn't. Vieira went, we didn't really replace him. Like slowly, like everyone just kind of disappeared. Like,
but this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's Vieira with Gilberto.
No, they played along. They were together.
Like, so imagine we had players like Vieira, yeah, and then you just mentioned Edu, yeah. When Edu first come, he weren't great.
No,
but he had the players around him.
Yeah,
you say this all the time.
And confidence.
Like, yeah, you have the players around who can teach you where they won't even teach you a bit anything to do with your ability.
It's just
but you know, there's something about know-how, knowing how to play the game.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But then, like Arteta, he's inherited a team where he's relying solely on the players' ability to. Because I actually believe we have players that just don't know what they're doing. Remember, I said, do you have to be told when to close out a game? Or how to close out a game.
Yeah, like some people generally.
We have players that have to be told
because you've never done it, and you don't have anyone in that team who have done it.
Can I ask you lot something? Yeah, because obviously it seems to be that what is missing at Arsenal is character. Are there many players out there?
I think there are.
That you could identify. Okay, Henderson aside because you're not getting him, but realistic. Signings that you could get that they've got character.
Do you know what? I think there are. So whether or not some will cost money, some won't cost money. But right now, what Arsenal need isn't a case of ability on the ball.
Yeah, and will that person even fit like you said the style?
So
the
I think right now you got to. I personally think it's not like you got to put the style on the back burner, but you just got to make us harder to beat.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
You just got to make us harder to beat. So
it's got to be a consolidation.
a Johnny Evans in,
Mm.
I know that there's a certain level of defense and a certain level of
But you don't want him now.
reining people in that is going to happen.
You don't want him now. You was talking about when he went Leicester.
To be honest,
Would
if
you
we
take
had
him
Johnny
now?
Evans now, our defense is so bad. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know the fact that you're saying that you
No,
that's how bad it is.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Because he's been there, what, 2-3 years now?
Yeah, no, he's been there for like 2-3 years. And I keep saying Johnny Evans, but at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that I just need someone with character, someone who can be like you said, hey, go there. Holding was meant to be the next best thing. But you know what? Holding's had to grow up in Arsenal with no leadership.
Alongside
with nothing,
idiots, exactly.
where-
Yeah.
Looking up to Mertesacker.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? Where
Who
where
used to
now
throw up
you
before games.
used to get nervous.
Honestly,
I don't want to play anymore.
No,
I don't
That's
want to play
your,
anymore.
that's your partner, centre back partner.
don't, man.
Bruh,
Don't.
do you get what I'm saying?
How you gonna perform?
Don't.
That is who you're looking up to at the back,
You're
and you
starting
got
to make
you
me
got
angry now.
top strikers running at you.
You know what-
you're
you know-
gonna prick it as well.
You know what the biggest problem is?
So I've rattled you, innit?
You know what the biggest problem is? Because
Hey, you gonna drop me off?
we just let leader after leader after
Go.
leader after leader go. And they like sometimes you have to, and the whole 1 year policy sometimes was just
It
nonsense.
was bullshit.
Give them 2-3 years. They might sit there, they might not play, but,
But
they just
the
need
things
to
they
be
bring.
around.
Yeah.
You look at Man United, and like when the time was right, Fergie will offload certain man. But there was always like the players. You look how long United was strong and dominated for
Yeah.
And
across across
Mhm.
decades.
Yeah.
So like the left back in this season to this season to this season, they went through different players.
Yeah.
Everyone had the same sort of determination and grit. But that's because you had certain figures who were here,
To keep
and
it
then when
going.
it came into this sort of generation, they were still floating around a
Still
little bit.
float around.
They
And
now
then
you
like
learn
you
the
said-
culture and everything of the club.
And-
now he moves them on, and
Yeah.
then they now show it
They
to these
pick it
ones.
up. Yeah.
Now we're just blind leading the blind. And no offense to Arteta, for me, everyone was like buzzing when he come to Arsenal.
I went.
I thought he was very good at Everton.
I won't.
thought when he come to Arsenal, I thought he was well past his sell by date.
Yeah.
He was a poor replacement for was that when Fabregas went?
No.
That's not you got to.
Someone
no, it might have been
Might have been
Fabio.
Flamini, actually.
No,
it
no,
might have been
it might be
Fabregas.
Fab.
I need to double check.
No,
So
but
if
I
Firmino
think it
came
might
back?
have
I
been
don't
Fab.
think he replaced him with
no, as in like Fab's left, and it was in that window
Yeah.
that he bought
Oh,
Arteta.
right,
in.
okay.
And
And
Mertesacker as well, that
for
window.
me, it might have all been
I
that
thought they played
window.
together.
And Andre
Santos,
Santos. Yeah.
another one. But yeah, like for me, just was past his sell by date. Wasn't fantastic. Didn't do much in terms of like the same Arsenal. The same, but the same Arsenal we criticise, or I criticise anyway. That is now the man leading.
Leading in the charge.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I said from before, like I wasn't expecting much. I still don't, but maybe I might have to put the expectations.
But this
somewhat
is
lower.
this is where you know the club's gone awry because they valued what Mikel would bring over trying a Vieira. And if you remember correctly, I campaigned hard for something like
Yeah.
that because I kept saying you need to bring the experience of knowing how to win at this club back. And the one thing that, to be fair, Vieira did is that he instilled that because this is the kind of player he was.
Yeah.
Arteta was an okay player. Arteta is very new school in a sense because
Yeah.
obviously he's been with Pep and he's got obviously he's had great education, his stewardship and all that shit. But for me, it wasn't what the club needed. You can give it to an Arteta when you want to change the direction of a football club.
No,
you don't
ju-
give it to an Arteta when you need
the
to
thing is-
take you out of the dirt.
The thing is, the
Yeah.
reason, and I don't know if you remember this conversation we had, but I was saying that I don't care who we get.
Yeah, I
because
remember that.
Anyone we get in now,
You were saying
Like,
anyone we get
results like against
the
Brighton.
job's going to be
You
almost
see what's
exactly
happening
the
against Brighton.
Yeah.
Any manager that we've got in,
same. Yeah.
them results will still be happening right
But
at
do you
this
know what,
moment.
though? A part of me says that, a part of me agrees, but a part of me disagrees because I think there's a way. Yeah, Arteta is trying to play away. He's made us, to be fair, without the coronavirus break, we looked much more balanced. We looked a lot more comfortable, and we looked a bit more solid and we looked a bit more like a unit. Yeah, but okay, for example, if you had brought in a manager who, let's say, used the complete opposite. Say someone like Jose.
Mm.
Yeah, if you brought in a Mourinho, yeah, I don't think you'd get the same performances. Something in me just says because I just think he
Yeah.
sets them up different.
No.
Do you understand
No,
what I'm
no.
saying? And that
this
was
is
the
what I'm
thing why I was saying
Arteta
for me,
definitely deserves some blame.
The Vieira thing. Again, Vieira may
Arteta definitely
but-
deserves some blame,
Mm.
100%. But until like time's gone on and certain players are just out of the club, because the whole culture is just it's just off.
The culture's
But
toxic.
what do you do
culture.
with them players?
Do you know what
You
needs
gotta
to
get rid
fucking
of
stop as well? The culture of that fucking. You see that Arsenal fan TV? It started. No. Seriously, it started quite a good thing to do, put
Nah,
Arsenal on the map. But
listen,
do you know what it's become?
I'm not going
It's become a fucking.
that video.
It's become like EastEnders.
Someone sent me
It's
that
a
video.
fucking joke, bro.
Someone sent me
Do you
that
know, I need to
video.
watch it.
I could not stop laughing.
And the thing is, you know what it is?
I could
I
not
can
stop
never
laughing.
disrespect another man's opinion, yeah? Because it's your view. Whether it's rubbish or not, to me, it doesn't, it is what it is. But people's media careers come before being a fan. But the thing that you're being a media career off is the fact that you're a fan. Bruv, stay, like, I'll be honest, Arsenal are half perceived as a laughingstock because of the way that that Arsenal fan TV comes across. And the reality of the situation is, like, you can always get something to share that's gonna fucking shit on a football club, especially if you've got fans that are vocal and they're actively shitting on it. And they're not, like, Arsenal's a club of prestige. There's nothing prestigious about Arsenal fan TV. No disrespect to them. This isn't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, I look at the Arsene, I look at the early Arsene Wenger period, yeah, and I look at what Arsene Wenger did, and to be fair, he probably stayed longer than he should have. But there was a point in Arsenal's thing where there was just a class about the club, and I just feel like, but that class came with pedigree. Do you know what I mean? It came people, you earned that level.
Yeah.
Today it's like, I'll be honest, Arsenal, it was always nice to watch. It's hard to watch.
But this
it
is
is difficult.
And this is what Arteta, you can see he's trying to change that and he's getting frustrated. Sometimes I look at his face and it's just like, I don't think he realised how big the job was.
The job
And-
was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What does he
John's
do
massive.
with them players? Like, what does
No,
he
you've
do?
only got to just, you know what? It's going to be a thing of, we're going to have to get worse before we get better.
But do
innit?
they give him that time though?
Yeah, again, this is
Exactly.
the issue.
And
Because
this is the
Emery
thing.
didn't get that time.
And no, but I think
But I think
Emery
Emery
lost
got
the
it wrong.
players.
I think Emery got it wrong.
Emery lost the players.
I agree. I think Emery got it wrong.
Emery
I
lost the
don't
players.
know. I think he
And I
got
keep
it
saying this to you.
Say that again, sorry.
I keep saying Emery lost the players
He got-
because
he
you
got it
keep
wrong.
saying Arteta. And I know why you keep doing that, because the fans are silly and you can't just be chopping and changing
Yeah,
managers or whatever in it. But
But Emery got it wrong.
yeah.
He got it wrong.
But anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. We're back in the studio. Sorry to end it on a bit of a
With the mask.
yeah.
Last
It
off,
didn't last. It didn't last the whole thing.
It's hard to breathe in this.
But
It's
yeah,
hard to
guys,
breathe in this bitch.
Mask off.
keep liking, subscribing, sharing.
It's hard to breathe in this bitch. Man.
Hashtag Counterattack Podcast. Anything else to plug? Spence of Excellence, big up, virtual
Every time. Yeah,
Jeez.
virtual sessions,
Virtual
weekly
sessions.
sessions.
Big
virtual
chat this
weekly
week with
sessions.
The beast
We
himself,
got
I think.
No, that's next.
next week.
Sorry.
So by the time, oh no, what's the actual date on that one?
9th.
The 9th of July. You got Spencer's on live with Akinfenwa, the Beast.
Man, like
Get me. You got Lamin. What you got to plug?
Beast mode. Everything.
Palmer.
Palmer Foundation.
Palmer Foundation.
Doing great work.
If you want to get a house,
If you want to get property, come talk to me.
Look
RW
at
and
that.
Premier Finance.
You get
Let's
me.
go.
Michael.
Plenty.
There's nothing right now.
He just got to plug Stone Island.
Obviously, the football's on today.
yeah, he's going Millwall.
Millwall.
And
Big up the move.
I ain't got anything to plug, to be honest. Hope Podcast.
Hope.
Oh, big up the whole
Hope Podcast. So I've got a new podcast, which is like a non-football one. Just trying to talk to
Aspirational.
people.
Into that.
Yeah.
Aspiration. I like
Me and
that.
Bradley Johnson got a
I like
pod. So
the
check
angle.
that out. Hope Podcast. And yeah. All right, cool. Guys, in a bit.
Easy.
Peace.